Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to a Wolfram Language Design Review. This is the beginning of our season of version 13.2 design reviews. And we are starting this morning, afternoon, or whatever it is for you, with machine learning. So, where do we start? Giulio.
Well, okay, so first thing, we have begun our update of clustering functions. So we've been working to hook up automation, add support for fixed number of clusters for more methods. So in general, we are going to try more things. This on average is going to give better results. And we also have a bunch of speed improvements under the hood. Nothing visible in the outside.
Let's be explicit. What are we looking at here?
No. I'm just going through the notebook that you have in the other notebook.
Tell me what I'm supposed to be looking at here.
Here, nothing.
Wait a minute. It says automation and more methods. Where are the more methods?
No, sorry. The sentence is cut. We wanted the support for fixed number of clusters for more methods. It was something that was completely missing. We had only a couple of methods supporting that, and it's the most used method.
So I'm sorry, I'm confused. This is partitions data into n clusters, and
exactly.
You're saying that was not supported for some of these clustering methods.
Almost all.
Right.
Okay.
So they could return fewer clusters. People complain. If you specify that you want 5 clusters, you really want 5.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, fine. All right. Any more to say about that?
No, I mean it's actually a big update, but it's mostly under the hood right now. So it will surface a lot of extra information for clustering that we are exposing in the next iteration.
Does it have design consequences, or is it just?
No. This is not. No, nothing visible here.
That spanning tree, for example, allows you to specify we want 8 clusters or something.
Yeah, exactly. Now it works. For example, spanning tree is exactly one of those that has been updated to support fixed number of clusters.
So let's see. But here it says can only be used when the number of clusters is specified. So are there any way you can't specify the number of clusters?
Yes, you can say automatic. That's true. That's the reverse.
No. I'm saying even after this update, are there now ones where you could not get it to work with specifying that you want 8 clusters or whatever?
Yes, some of them they still don't work. I'm in the process.
Maybe they don't work. Okay, but I mean, is them not working just a technical issue that's going to get fixed, or is it something where that method just makes no sense to ask for a fixed number of clusters?
Some is the latter. Some of them they were implemented in a vanilla way, and there are ways to extend them, and this is what I'm doing.
Okay, fine. But the ones where they are unextendable, probably there should be a note that says that here.
Yes. We have a message now which is a lot more complete that explains.
No, I understand that, but you should have a statement here, just like this says can only be used when the number of clusters specified. There's other ones which cannot be used with a fixed number of clusters.
It makes sense. Yes,
right?
I like it.
Let's move on. Clustering measurements. So I don't understand what this is. This new in?
Yes, this is new. So up to this point, we had no way to measure to compute any measure on clusters. We had internal code that was doing that to guiding the, for example, number of cluster selection when it was unspecified, but it was very clunky.
Accepted. We usually say possible clustering specification. I don't understand what this is. This doesn't even make sense. This isn't English. Accepted plus.
No, you're right, Stephen. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be possible.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But so let me understand what this is doing now.
This is taking clusters and giving out measures that are like basically the equivalent of accuracy precision for supervised classification. These are used for unsupervised classification. And these are
so let me understand how this corresponds to classifier measurements, for example.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, whatever this is not acceptable. What is that? Is that some kind of text? It should be a grid, right?
Yes. Sorry, as I said, I'm not as prepared as I wanted because last week I was out the whole week and I was sick. But yeah, this is the summary. Is not that final form of the summary.
Okay, but it's going to be a grid, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Or is it going to be a data set? Maybe it should be a
data sets, because then you can take things out.
Yeah, this is just a table form. It's temporary. The summary is a data set actually in the implementation.
Okay, fine. The data set is the right thing, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I have no opinion about these, but I mean, basically, I don't quite understand.
So this is not complete, Stephen, but you know, these eponymous names, I mean, for properties and whatnot, they say nothing except as a key to a joke list, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Same with the special functions. They say nothing.
Yeah.
And so there are attempts to explain them now. It's not quite finished yet, but that will go better. So you should be able to learn about them here.
Okay, but hold on. Let me just, I mean, if I say find clusters and then I say, I don't know.
I'm sorry, this is not the last version of the ref page. I pushed one a few hours ago. I don't know.
Oh, for goodness sake. Well.
Sorry, I just noticed.
Okay. All right, so here's a find clusters. So now you're telling me that this thing that now I say clustering measurements of that.
Yeah, no, I told you why. I mean, it should have been in the prototype build. There was a failure on TeamCity. It's going to be in the one tomorrow. I fixed it today. It's going to give you a summary of all the measures about this clustering. What you see in the first example.
As a data set.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fine. All right. Let's move
on. So you will be able. The idea is that you will be able, if you want to kind of show off like what's going on there, like similar exactly like you have a classifier, you want to show accuracy, F1 score, big criteria, and some of them are very useful to understand. And we extended some of them. They typically give you one number for the whole clustering, but we extended some of them to give you result per cluster, or in case of silhouette score, per example. So you can actually do quite a bit of digging inside and figure out if, for example, I know you identify customer groups and only one is not very good in terms of grouping things together.
This is something where there's a correspondence between the measurements and the individual elements. And there are other ones where there's a correspondence between the lists of between the clusters and the measurements.
Exactly.
Okay.
The literature indices, they are typically just a single number per the whole process. But we wanted to give an option to dig deeper, basically look inside.
Yeah, I don't have a great sense of how our star measurements functions have been. You know, to me, some of the image measurements functions are kind of a hacky way into all kinds of detailed things that I want about images. I'm not thrilled with the fact that I'm basically just, you know, it's a jokes by numbers type adventure to find them, and I'm not sure.
Some of them we have sidestepped the problem completely. For example, by adding support for statistics functions directly on images, max, mean, min. Those were like in image measurements because there was no other place where to put them. But stuff like classifier measurement, for example, we use a lot. It's kind of the end of every piece of code that uses classify. You want to do the measurements.
Yeah.
So for machine learning, especially for unsupervised learning, you want to have some guidance, especially when you go beyond the 2-3D, where you don't get a visual sense anymore.
Right. Well,
and then this will be able, we will be able to expand on this, similar to how we expand the classifier measurement with stuff like confusion matrix plot. So my idea to extend this is, we can add I was looking with Shadi at the community graph plot. where we can have some kind of nice visualization for some of these things.
With respect to clusters, you mean?
Yes, with respect to clusters, like dedicated functionality for clusters.
Fine. All right, let's move on. This is good. Fine. Improved method selection for classify. What should I be looking at?
No, there's nothing explicit here. Timotei is working hard under the hood to make the automation better, and we discussed last week that this will lead to also better reporting. But yeah, there's nothing explicit about that yet.
Okay.
Is now for the new version will just be slightly faster, better under the hood, find better methods. So
okay, highlight string. We've been talking about this recently. Yep.
We've been talking about this recently. I implemented what you suggested in terms of tight wrapping.
Before we move on a little bit,
sorry.
One thing I think we do need to do is to establish benchmark for what we mean by better method selection.
This is a big part of what Timotei is working on. Like he has gathered data sets, and so he started by creating baselines using all our example data. We have quite a collection of example data sets, and now they form like kind of a standard benchmark every time we tweak something. So we are working hard not to be blind anymore.
All right, good.
Or to be less blind.
But I wanted to, when we do this thing here, I should have pushed that, but I was also sick all next week.
I was sick last week as well. We were all sick at the same time.
It's pretty horrible.
It's as if we should all be in the same office. Then we'd have a reason to all be sick at the same time.
Right.
It makes me concerned that the viruses have jumped to digital.
Yes.
I don't know. I finally got COVID after years.
Same here. Yeah, right. So
well, I didn't get COVID, but I haven't been sick for 10 years. So. But anyways, I want to have this when we do these reviews. We say something is better, this and that we show. We can show benchmark wise what got better and how much.
You want to show that
here, but also it's also for something that you can then use if you write the blog or we write the blog.
Yeah.
It's right. Like I just don't believe like this stuff.
Yeah.
Of saying things get better and then.
Yes.
Mysterious.
Right. Okay. Let's move on here. Highlight string. So, what do we really? I mean,
you look at this last time. You had some suggestions. I implemented most of them except for the multi-label visualization because I wanted to work on that last week. And so you wanted tight highlighting if the highlighting was ending in between words. So now that is implemented.
Wait a minute. So if I say, hold on. So if I say here, okay, this is, whoops. That seems to have a lot of space there. Well, okay. Let me just see what happens if I say text of this. Is that right? I mean,
this is what text is doing on a string. Yeah, I'm not.
No, I understand that. But I think this has too much space here. And if I say,
yes, we looked at this last time, and you say it was fine. At least what I understood, it was fine if it was ending in word separators. But if you end in between, now doesn't add extra space because between O and N.
That's sensible. Yeah, that's sensible. That looks good.
So you still get the nice highlighting with the pop-up if it is a full word, but it doesn't do it.
What do you mean by pop-up? What do you mean by pop-up?
The padding, the kind of highlights more. Then another thing you asked for was to have blending colors because in my first version didn't support, was not finished support for the nested highlighting or intersecting highlighting.
Okay, so let me do that here. So if I say 512 and then I say, 1014.
Okay, in this case, you have the same label, so they are just going to go the same. But if you highlight them with different labels,
why is this on space strong? That the is and the on are space strong. Yeah, something goofed up. Sorry, you goofed.
Oh no, sorry, they're just not merged. So this is a decision that we have to take here exactly. So if you add the labels, we see what's going on. So forget about the list. That is a part that I had to finish last week. But we need to decide.
What do you think
to
it's going?
do.
What will it look like in the fish fowl case?
Our idea was the design for the implementation of this was text structure where you have multiple lines.
Okay. Okay, fine. Well, you have to see that. I can't tell what's going on without seeing that. But now, are you telling me that there's some kind of merged color here?
Yes, I mean these color. This is the expression color which is generated by the annotation. So they are quite close, but by chance, if you change a bit one of the two strings with something like something else, it will use a different color, and you will see you were suggesting that this should blend. So the color in between is a blend between the one on the right and the one on the left.
Okay. All right. I mean, we're probably going to have to do another review of this because you're obviously not finished with this. No.
I mean, there's one last stretch of development for this that should be done. And I had there's some question that I wanted to ask. This is why I wanted to bring it up, because I talked to Lou and Itai about the box structure of this, and there's a decision of what do we want to do when the label is like in. This gives a good example, like
goes splatter
when the label is long. Okay, this we discussed last time. This we need string functions to support graphemes instead of characters. That was what was the original the idea in how to fix this.
What are we going to achieve in this meeting? What would you like to achieve in this meeting?
So I want to ask you one specific thing. What I was saying before, like if the label is very long and the highlighted string is very short. Do you want to push the text? Because the IASC and the front end has no native structure that can represent like an overflowing thing on the annotation line. You need an arrow, not minus. Yeah, if it is very, very long.
No, but there's something garbage here. This is missing garbage here. You got to deal with this case. Where something is labeled, something else is not labeled. That's got to work.
Oh yes, I see your point. But my question stands. Like, what do we want to do with a very long label when there's no space to display it?
I think we should develop, and we're doing this elsewhere, a general elision scheme. And so, for instance, so it has dots in the middle. It has a tooltip when you hover over it and things like that.
Seems reasonable to me, but I'm not sure that we want to always stuff it into the space that's available, do we? I mean, this looks as reasonable. I mean, I think we're going to need a choice of what to do here. I think you might want either of those things. I mean,
I think you're right. There could be a wrapper around the label that says optionally, elision.
Right, it could be an option to highlight string.
If you want to line wrap the label.
Well, look, there's different choices. You can line wrap it, you can elide it, you can just have it be full like this one is here.
I just noticed that we need it in a bunch of other places. It's a good wrapper to have. Like, for instance, if you have plot legends and if you have a paragraph long.
Sure. No, look, this is what short and so on were developed for long ago. Okay. And we probably need a better, we probably need a version of short that is better. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. I mean,
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, short is a very old function that hasn't really been modernized and probably does need to be modernized. And I would recommend that we not make a new function that is basically doing the same thing that short does. And I mean, unless, I think the problem with short is it's a line-based thing, and we might want, I mean, what we want is something where it gives a reasonable elision of a thing to fit in a certain space, right? Which is essentially what short is doing.
Yeah. But one thing that we ran into, for instance, in other contexts, I'll just bring it up here, because these are like use cases that you gradually come up with when you evolve such a function. So for instance, in some areas, like in System Modeler, the names for variables, and it's like our context names.
Yeah. I know.
Okay, and so what's significant is the end, not
No,
the beginning,
I know.
for instance. And so where you allied kind of matters. You know.
Yeah. Right. Well, so, but I mean, that's something, I mean, like a context name type thing we should know about. I mean, this is very, very old. This is kind of like version 1 style technology here.
Yeah.
I think we need to have a discussion, and it's probably part of ILD,
Yeah.
or maybe LCC, about short and basically generalizing short, because I think that short is
It's a little bit short on functionality.
I would say that, yes. You could say that if you wanted to. You know, it says n lines long, right? And we've obviously got to generalize that to character counts, or alternatively, what I would suggest is that that second element there has.
But also,
wait,
when you have an
that
interactive
second element, that second element should be a thing whose length determines the length of short.
Isn't that like pane or panel? I don't remember which one.
with line breaks.
Yeah, that's what that does. Yes.
Right. No, but there are other things. Like the question is, that thing it shortens out. Can you drill into it somehow?
I know. We're just supposed to be able to. But we, that was a feature we were going to add in version 1, and we didn't get around to it. And then 35 years went by, and now we got to do it. Okay.
There's also the thing that this is mostly text-based. Like it doesn't know about image size.
Yeah,
like if you have
understand.
images or stuff with image
I understand.
Sizes.
So let's clean it up.
Arnold was asking about rotated labels. I mean, you can use a rotate wrapper on the label, and it will display rotated. It supports any expression there.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Good. But I'm telling you, let's get a meeting to discuss short and its generalizations and elision and so on, because we've known for a long time we need that. This is a case where we need it. And you're going to do, okay, let's keep going with this meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
You will, yes. So here we have, right now we have a network that performs the same in terms of accuracy, but is 1/3 larger.
Is totally unacceptable is the ridiculous startup time of image identifier, which must be fixed. Okay, it's just a waste of time right now. It was fine a few years ago. It was doing just fine, and then it.
Okay, you reported to me that you had 2 minutes startup time without any download.
No good.
And
no good.
But that I couldn't reproduce on any other machine when we tried that.
We're doing it right now. Okay, you can measure the time. I get out my stopwatch by the time. Okay, so that was really slow.
Fast.
No, it was not fast. No, it was not. This is a built-in system function. Built-in system functions have to return quickly. They can't just get to go blah 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 for ages.
No, but it didn't. I mean,
and it didn't show any. Okay, so that's fine. What it did there is fine. But the initial thing, it's got to show a progress monitor. If it's taking, it was 15 seconds or whatever it was. I mean, I can redo it here. Let's redo it.
Can you run something else just to make sure that the kernel is up, because we have kernel startup time. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, you can do absolute timing.
I don't believe absolute timing. I'm going to use my stopwatch.
Okay.
This is bullshit. It's just bullshit. Okay, I got about 7 seconds on my stopwatch. It's just no good. Just no good, right? That's just no good. If you put up a progress dialog and we've got a solution for the cloud, then it's okay. But 6 seconds is no good for a system function.
But some progress thing will have to be more general. Like right now, loading packages doesn't have any progress information. And like MXNet link,
I'm telling you, so this is no good, right? So better would be not to have the 6 second delay. Am I making sense?
Yes, this is loading a lot of things.
There's nothing more to say about it. Okay, then put up a progress dialog. Okay.
I'll have to talk to Todd and see if we can have some progress information for Parklets.
Well, we need it. Sorry, this isn't going to work. And Avery, can you make sure that this is tracked, please? Because this is not something that can ship. You know, I'm pretty
Yes.
upset that image identify got so unbelievably much slower. I assume that what I'm running here is the new version of image identify. Is that correct?
No, the network will have no impact basically on this time. They load the same same way.
Fine. You've got a thing to fix here. Let's make sure it's
Yes.
fixed. Okay. What's next?
You can look at net external object. I think this wrapped up very nicely as a project.
Seems to not be loading here.
This is, of course, the first iteration where we run on next models, and this is we are putting together examples, and they are a breeze to actually use now. So this is used to basically wrap.
Specify what type of model it is. Where is that specified in the net external object?
No, right now no, because you see this is future. We started the roadmap is we start with 1NX. We actually have already MXNet.
But this is not adequate documentation. I mean, okay. I don't understand this. This is, you're saying you say file of something which is a .onNX file, right?
No, you see, this is all future. Right, in 13.2, this is going to be returned by import. You can import things as net external object without doing any conversion. We already had ONNX import, but it was trying to convert stuff to our framework, and it wasn't working in all cases. Now it's going to by definition work in every case, because we are using the Onyx runtime to run the model as a black box. This means that it is actually extremely convenient to test any model that you find in the wild.
Okay, but I understand, but the inputs to that model, how do you know that they're converted to the right data types and all that kind of thing?
Well, those have to be numbered. This is a naked outside thing. So I talked to Matteo, and my idea for this is to support net encoders and net decoders similar to our networks. This is something that we are.
Sorry, I don't understand at all. I don't understand at all. You've got some random Onyx network, and it expects an image and a list of dates and some other random.
No. An Onyx network will only, like any external network, will only expect tensor data.
Okay, fine.
By definition.
Fine.
This
so
is
wrapping of that thing. Okay, so this is a pure tensor story, and then it gets wrapped by things which are net encoders, net decoders.
So if you scroll down, you see an example of like a real use case. So, okay, this is a very efficient detector. So right now we import it as a net external object. We use a net encoder and a net decoder. So I want to extend net external object to be able to support encoders and decoders, but this will come in the next iteration. So right now you can just use encoders and decoders as functions. And basically this is very little code to run a random model in an external framework.
But let me just understand this. I see. So that's what it looks like. It literally is running. The classifier is the net external object. And
exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. And arguably.
And if we manage to bundle, like unfortunately, Matteo's time was spent like a month or more to fix stupid MXNet regression that were hampering the framework. But we could do. I think we did a very good foundation here. And in the next version, we want to embed the encoder and decoder in the net external object, so you will not even have to specify them separately in the function call.
Yeah, I understand.
And it's quite fast. So if you scroll down, I have an example of object detection.
Wait.
Sorry.
Wait. So when you specify the encoder and decoder, there will be some association inside the net external object, presumably, that basically says in there, it'll have an encoder element of the association, the raw classifier, the decoder, etc. Does that make sense?
We can specify them the same way as we specify them for networks. Then the concept of ports is the same in every framework. Like to the port images, you can attach an image.
Well, I understand. Tell me specifically what you're talking about here.
Okay, like look again at the classifier example. So the first port is that image. If you click on plus, it sees like it also tells you which are input ports and which are output ports in the summary box, for example.
Okay.
So this one here is our toy model in example data, but the one below is so let's say that this one takes images, but it's just a name images. Let's say that you really want to apply this on images. So I want to use the same syntax that the port images 0, will be dressed with the net encoder image.
Okay.
This will work the same as our framework. So you will be able to use this. But this is like.
But by the same as the framework, you mean if I say, in net model, do we have such a mechanism? No.
Yes, of course. Yeah. If you do net model Wolfram image identify, that takes an image and returns an entity.
No, I understand that. But is that? How is the dressing specified?
Well, in net model is when you in this case is already built in.
But I'm asking you, when you specify it, when you have to specify it, how is it specified here? Do you understand what I'm asking? Where do you put the net encoder? Where do you put it?
It's already put in. Net model is like external data.
Okay. When you have to put it in explicitly, where do you put it in?
In net graph, net chain.
Okay, fine. But so then you're suggesting that net external object rather, has in it. I see. This is what you're saying.
Like a port. This one has no encoders because it's just connectivity. But
okay, I understand. Cool. All right. Great. What's next here?
So in terms of new functions to look at, nothing. These three are the main page.
Right. What else are we trying to achieve in this meeting? Or can we consider that we're wrapped up?
Well, most of the work that we have been doing this summer was kind of under the hood preparation.
Oh, that's great.
So I think these things are the first visible, but there's going to be more.
Okay, so this meeting was set up as a design review, and was it mis-set up? Should it have been set up in 3 weeks or something, or what's the point here? Because it didn't seem like it was a lot to review here.
No. Well, we have new pages and new symbols, and I wanted you to see what they are. And except for highlight string, all the others are in a pretty ready state. So if you are not happy, is now or like
no, I think I am happy. So I think we're all good. Is there anything else I should look at here?
No, this is it.
It's nice. It's good stuff. It's all. Listen, the fact that stuff is under the hood and doesn't require design grinding is that's good news. It's not that's nice.
And one thing I want to mention is that in the end, the net external object turned out to be pretty fast. So I put an application example in the ref page where you can import an object detection network, and that can you can do event detection in real time. And I think that this opens up many interesting opportunity for deployment in terms of just one side thing that given that Matteo worked hard, I wanted to kind of mention that is the application example. If you scroll down to the end of the page, you see this one here. So this is again removing the lines of text is a very, very concise way to import a model that you know nothing about and run it.
Which one here? Which one are you looking at?
This is an object detection. Yeah. So we start by defining the image and the detector, which is this net external object that you see output 4. And then we just wrap the resulting rectangle, basically, and use highlight image. And then we have a face detector. This is actually is a nice model. It's like 1 megabyte model that you could run on a phone.
Yeah, well, maybe we should be using that. I mean, this business about speeding up our, machine learning and neural net models is really important. This business about a 5-second delay is just no good.
The goal for this is not just speeding up the models, is also speeding up the, let's say the image team wants to test new models. They can do it very fast now.
I'm well aware of what the objective of this is.
Okay,
right.
Okay.
Great. Right, it's great.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, I look into image identify and redo the first time it was speeded up, we look at all the partials and brought them down. We are going to do that again.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Anything else? Nope.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.